my world free. You set my world free. You set my world free. You set my world free. Yeah. Nothing can compare to. I set myself free. Nothing can compare to. Yeah. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free. I found you in the YPG. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free, nothing can compare to this. You set my world free. Yeah, I set myself free, nothing can compare to this. I set myself free. Say I will not doubt myself, and I believe in myself in the YPG as I level up with every move. We'll take it to another level, another level, another. We're going to another level, another level, another level, another. I've been down before. Feel like a whole world just wants my phone. I've been trapped by what they see me for, but now I'm free, free to go. We'll take it to another level, another level, another level, another level, another. We're going to another level, another level, another level, another level, another level, another level, another. You set my world free, nothing can compare to this. You set my world free. Yeah, I set myself free, nothing can compare to this. I set myself free. Say I will not doubt myself, and I believe in myself in the YPG as I level up with every move.
up, what's good, fam? I hope you guys are all doing great. I hope this week has been great. Those of you who have enjoyed the long weekends and the holidays, I hope you guys are resting. But not just resting, making it a productive and profitable holiday, keeping yourselves busy. Not forgetting that this coming Saturday, we're going to be having the VYG, our first career expo. And we'll be having so many experts talking about careers, the different careers, opening our minds with the different career opportunities and the paths that are necessary for us to get there. So make sure that you head down to the grounds. It starts from 10 o'clock and it should be ending latest at 2 p.m. No later than that, as our amazing companies and fam who'll be joining us will be there spending their time this weekend with us and, sharing profitable insight. But on that note, make sure that you keep yourself busy. Make sure that you are, learning something new, learning a new skill, adding something, doing something profitable, and not just waking up late and enjoying the holidays, resting. It's good to rest, but also make sure that you have that right equilibrium for you to be the best in everything in life. Got it? Not forgetting that if you want to reach out, you want to get in touch, the VYG fam is out here for you. You want to chat to us, or you just want to DM us, get in touch, DM us and let us know what's up. You know that we have an amazing team of VYG mentors who admin our pages, and they are always ready to assist you. If there's anything you want to bring straight to my attention, just mention it there in the DM. I'll be more than glad to assist. And if I can't help you personally, I'll definitely get the help until you are helped the way you deserve to be helped. Got it? So today we're going to be addressing people with the tendency of back pedestals, or making people's backs their pedestals. People who, they use the backs of others, or they climb on people's backs in order for them to reach the top. They use the downfall of another human being in order for them to succeed. This is quite a common trait in a couple of human beings, and you'll be surprised the different environments in which this takes place. It even takes place in environments you would not expect that. People who literally do whatever it takes to retain power, or to obtain power, or money, or success, recognition. In order for them to be able to do that, though, they need, to put somebody down. They can't just reach the top. I'm sure you've heard me say this quite a few times, that when understanding competition, your biggest competition is yourself. Every single day you are competing against yourself in order for you to be a better you than you were yesterday. That's what I always say. However, today I want to address the fact that there are people who their greatest achievement comes on the fact that they had to manipulate, or let me not say, maybe not even manipulate, but jeopardize the life of another human being. They see the opportunity for another human being to grow, but they also want that. So in order for them to achieve what they want to achieve, or to stop that person from achieving it, they use their backs as a pedestal, which means they climb on people's backs. They always want the glory for themselves, the praise for themselves. They always want people to look at them and say, wow, you are amazing. Even though they know that they're taking the credit which was never theirs in the first place. Or sometimes it's not even about the praise, it's just the fact that they don't want to see someone else achieving, someone else winning, someone else reaching what they actually want to reach themselves. So this is exactly what I would like to address in today's Something Extra. Because unfortunately, it is becoming a very common trait. The whole thing of snitching. This is usually a rule in certain hoods because, people will be afraid of snitching because of the possibility of having their lives put into trouble. But there are people who they do not seize snitching, or let me put it the other way around. There are people who will snitch. They will make snitching a part of their lives, not because they want to see the wrong being eradicated and the right prevailing, but simply because they want to get to the top. They want to get that promotion at work. They want to get that attention from a certain person. How about those who just have that pleasure? I'm sure you've met someone whose pleasure is diminishing others, for them to feel good about themselves, for them to feel better about themselves, their life choices, what they've achieved, or who they are, what they want to achieve, or where they want to reach. For them to obtain that, they need to put others down, for them to feel better about themselves. Because, as we've previously mentioned, people who carry toxicity within them, they want others to also feel that toxicity. They also want others to suffer, on the receiving end of that toxicity. And I want to say to you, run from being that kind of person. Run from being the kind of person who has the pleasure of seeing others' downfalls. I was watching the other day, there are lots of these podcasts nowadays, especially celebrity gossip kind, the ones which only take time speaking about the lives of a celebrity. What is a celebrity? A human being. Whether known internationally or locally, doesn't matter. The fact is, still a human being. That's still a person who breathes every day, who has a heart, has a brain. Sometimes they may behave like they don't really have much of a brain, but actually they do. And sometimes even they don't have a heart. But in actual fact, they do. And there are people who find it nice to disrupt the flow of that person's life. How about paparazzis? I've seen many cases of paparazzis where a celebrity will ask, please give me the space, please, not now, please. And they will provoke them or come with a provocative question in order to, tick them off, in order to hit that button of provocation, in order for that person to give them the reaction so that they can hit the tabloids, they can hit, the headlines and say, look, celebrity so-and-so did this. And everybody, that bad news is something which spreads quicker than good news. Bad news is something that, it's so fast, it's so rapid, it's so quick for you to hear about something bad as opposed to you actually hearing good news. If you look, for example, the news, what is the layout of the news? The headlines, the bad stuff. And then towards the end, sometimes they'll have a light joke or something lighthearted, or sports, our team won this or that. But usually the main stuff, which they'll even reiterate or remind you towards, they'll be calling it out when they are closing that news segment, and they will be reminding you what were the headlines, as we call it, the headlines, top stories. What are the top stories? It's always something bad. It's always something which is bad. I mean, now these days people are talking about the incident of those dear police officers whose lives were taken away. We don't know how. The police are investigating, and we really hope that the justice system does its job and takes its toll, especially for the closure of the dear families of those cops. They were fairly young, I should say. But my point is, because it's something bad, it spreads so fast. All of us hear of it. If you didn't hear about it, then you'll probably hear about it. If you just heard it in passing, some way, somehow, you will hear about it, or you heard about it. But why am I talking about it? Because bad news is so quick to spread. And many people will use that. Like I said, a paparazzi will be following the life of a celebrity, looking for something. So-and-so is cheating on so-and-so. So-and-so did that. So-and-so was dressed in this way. And always looking for something to point at others, to minimize that other person, to diminish sometimes even the dignity of another human being. I'd like to say this to you. You might not be doing it deliberately, but I just want to say to you, be careful with that. See to it that you are not that kind of person. See to it that you flee from being that kind of person who you realize. Just ask yourself, do you ever get the attention by putting others down? There are people who, every time you will speak about another person, oh, do you know John? Which John? Oh, John, the one who's a very good swimmer. John, he can really swim. And then this person only has a negative context to add to the story. Like, yeah, but John grew up in a rich family. He's always had a swimming pool at his backyard, so he's always had that chance. I never had it. Or they'll use someone else sometimes when they don't want to make it sound too obvious that they want the attention to come to themselves and that the attention moves away from John, but they'll talk about themselves or someone else. Oh, so and so is a great swimmer too, and he or she never had what John had or has, always looking for something spiteful. I like the saying that if you don't have something good to say, just keep quiet. And I agree with that. I'm not saying that when there is wrong, we should not criticize. When I say criticize, I mean point out what is wrong. Because you criticizing from a distance makes no difference. That's just gossip. That's just talking about another person's life, and you're not making any positive impact to the situation. But I'm talking about constructive criticism where you actually help build that person. But if you're the kind of person who finds pleasure in putting another human being down, I'm sorry to say to you, but you got a lot of internal battles to deal with and a lot of internal changes to make in your own life. I'm sorry if I might sound a little bit harsh, but I want to say to you that there's nothing nice about going up or gaining any promotion by putting another human being down. You climb on people's backs as if it were a pedestal. That tattletale vibe where you just have that pleasure of putting that person in trouble. I remember when we were younger, when we were in primary school, early primary school days, where we would be like, ma'am, teacher, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that, because we were looking for attention. We wanted the teacher to go and do that. We wanted that sense of power because, look, I got you into trouble, that kind of stuff. But as we grow up, we mature, we learn that there's nothing cute. I repeat, I must reiterate, I'm not saying that you should be quiet when something is wrong. I'm not saying, hey, just let it be, don't be a snitch, please. By no means am I condoning that. What I am saying, however, is do not use the downfall of another human being for you to rise. Do not get another person in trouble in order for you to get the attention you want from yourself. If you realize that that person is undeserving of that, put your hands together and focus on what you have to do. If you think that person's undeserving, do what you gotta do then for you to succeed, not to bring that person down. My own competition here, myself, being better every day, being more disciplined every day, fighting the days I gotta do the things I don't want to do, waking up early at times when I don't want to wake up, striving for the success and the excellence I'd love to obtain in my life, which I'm not going to say to you that I've got it in the bag, because oftentimes I will fail at that. Oftentimes I will get it wrong, but I must carry within me this mindset, this understanding. I need to give it the best for me to achieve what I want to achieve without bringing another human being down. Have you been bringing others down for you to feel better? And it might not be on a major scale, like in the corporate world or at school or in any way. It might just be random conversations where you want to feel better about yourself by putting another person down. You are using another person's back as a pedestal. Change that. PJ, how do I work on myself to change that? How can I better? How can I improve and be a better human being to that other person? Stop looking at others, start looking at yourself. We always say that in the VYG. Look at yourself. Focus on where you want to achieve, or where you want to reach, and what you want to achieve. If that person is doing wrong, focus on you. Do you. Stay in your lane. If you feel like what that person is doing is jeopardizing or detrimental to everybody, then you might need to bring it forth, because that's not right. Or if the reputation of the group, for example, you see a VYG member who has a bad example, or mentor, whoever, who has a very bad example, that obviously needs to be brought forth, not because you want to take that person's place, but because you realize that what is wrong, what is right, and we as the VYG fam need to uphold a good reputation. But now if you decide you're going to do that, you're going to snitch because now you want to take that person's place, the damage is double. Because you may even take that person's place, and you are going to do maybe even worse, because your desire is to see another person's downfall. And if somebody ever does something wrong to you, here's a side note. If somebody ever does something mean to you, something wrong to you, do not applaud them when they are getting punished for it. Use that to take a lesson for yourself and hope that person will learn their lesson. There is no pleasure in seeing a person being killed, a person being sent to prison, although there are people who are deserving of that prison sentence, not because it's good to be in prison, but because it is good in the hope that they will learn their lesson. These lessons make you, make me, make us a better person, day after day after day. It is wishing good even to those who wish us evil. There are people who don't treat me well. I'm not going to treat them badly because they treat me badly. I'll treat them well because it's in my nature to treat them well. There are people who don't greet me, who don't talk to me, but I'll greet them because it's in my nature. My mama taught me to have manners and greet people when I walk past them. So therefore, I'll do it, even though, I repeat, there are times I really don't want to do it, especially when that person is rude or mean and that person plays against the team, if you know what I mean. But what's inside of me should be good. What's inside of me should matter more than what's on the outside. I must mention, I read a post the other day of a lady who, she's running like a beauty. She's in the beauty industry. And she has this running business of hers, and she had a billboard where somebody went there and spray painted it to remove the details of something which I believe she spent quite a lot of money to put up, and somebody just went there and bang, did that. I liked her reaction, however, because she was like, may God help this person. And it was very interesting because the good that's inside of her did not allow her to wish evil upon the person who did evil to her. But actually, she wished well, that that person may find help. So she's like, may God help this person. Really, may God help this person. When you have the mindset of using people's backs as a pedestal, like I see a lot of podcasts, these, like I mentioned earlier on, celebrity gossips, where they look for issues of the celebrities, pictures and videos to expose them. That's because that person has no confidence. Most probably, I'm gonna go deeper. Most probably the desire of that person is to be in the spotlight like that celebrity. So he becomes famous for doing what? For having a podcast or a television program or a radio program where he or she only talks about the celebrity. Oh, but celebrities and famous people have the responsibility of a good influence. Truly, maybe we should point out the good they could be doing instead of exposing the bad they might be doing for the fact that you want to promote yourself. I repeat, nothing wrong with pointing out what is wrong. I'm not saying hide and cover what is wrong. I'm not saying turn a blind eye to what is wrong and act like nothing happened. What I'm saying is don't use that as a pedestal, as a step ladder for you to get to the top because you know that you're jealous that that person has made it. I'm saying this in general. If you ever find those traits in you, run from it. And if you don't have those traits, protect yourself by always looking at yourself. It is so dangerous to look at the lives of others. It is deadly. It's mortal for you to focus on the lives of others and think that it's nice. When somebody is in trouble, chocho. Look, it may even be chocho because depending on the circumstances, but wish that person well. Wish that person may find the right path, the light, above all, Jesus, and find true happiness for themselves. Because revenge is not only a thing that will hurt one person, but usually hurts many more. So wish well to everybody and make nobody your pedestal, nobody's backs your personal pedestal. Go for your dreams, fight for it, stay in your lane, focus, 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 not on others, but focus on yourself. Got it? I hope this has helped you. And share this link. Make sure that you take it and share it with others. This message, I believe, will be very helpful. And by the way, if you say, PJ, I know someone who is like this, someone who uses others as a back pedestal, how do I protect myself from that person? Well, if you don't give them a reason, you'll be safe. And even if they make up stories about it, be at peace when you know that it's just a made up story. It is a lie. Sooner or later, the truth will prevail, because the truth is always heavier than the lie. The lie is cheap and it doesn't last long, I promise you. So just like I said, stay in your lane, leave them, wish them well, even if they don't wish you well. Whether it's at school, whether it's at work, in your family, in your neighborhood, maybe even in the church community, maybe even in the VYG, there might be that kind of, I'm pretty sure somewhere, somehow, there should be those kinds of people. But don't focus on them. Focus on you. Be the best you can be and show them that indeed there ain't no stopping you. All right? I meet you guys this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. at the grounds for the VYG exhibition, the expo rather, the Career Expo. I can't wait for it, and I know that you guys are going to be wowed by what you see. Some of our other fam around the country won't have it this Saturday, they'll have it next week, but you guys will see that what's going to be happening this coming Saturday at the grounds. If you're not here, well, unfortunately, you'll either be enjoying it somewhere else, which is not unfortunate rather, but you might have a little bit of FOMO if you're going to miss out on it at all. So make sure you don't. Make a plan for you to come and join us at the grounds. All right, fam, take care of yourselves, and you know what it is, you know, there ain't no stopping us. We out.